You're in your early 40s and something feels off. Maybe you're gaining weight around your midsection, despite eating the same way you always have. Maybe your energy crashes mid-afternoon, or your mood swings feel sharper than they used to. You might chalk it up to getting older, but there's something more specific happening in your body that almost nobody talks about: estrogen dominance. And if you're watching this, you probably sense that something's shifted. So hit that subscribe button, because we're diving deep into what's actually happening to your hormones right now, and why understanding this changes everything. Estrogen dominance isn't what you think it is. Most people assume it means you have too much estrogen in absolute terms. That's not quite right. Estrogen dominance is when your ratio of estrogen to progesterone becomes imbalanced, usually because progesterone drops faster than estrogen does as you enter your 40s. This is the trap nobody explains. Your estrogen might be perfectly normal by lab standards, but relative to your progesterone, it's dominating the show. And that ratio is what actually controls how your body feels and functions. Your ovaries start to shift their production patterns in your late 30s and early 40s. This is the beginning of perimenopause, whether you call it that or not. You're not menopausal yet. You still have periods, maybe regular ones, but the hormonal stability you had in your 20s and 30s is cracking. Progesterone, the hormone that balances estrogen and keeps you calm, focused, and metabolically efficient, starts to decline first. Estrogen often stays elevated, or even rises slightly, before it eventually drops. That mismatch creates a window of time where you feel the effects of estrogen dominance without understanding why. One of the most visible signs is weight gain, especially around the belly and hips. Estrogen dominance promotes fat storage in these areas. You're not eating more, and you're not moving less, but somehow your body is redistributing fat in a way that feels almost impossible to fight. This isn't about willpower or calories. Estrogen affects your metabolic rate, your insulin sensitivity, and how your body partitions nutrients. When estrogen is high relative to progesterone, your body becomes more efficient at storing fat and less efficient at burning it. You might hit the gym harder than ever before and still see your waistline expand. That frustration is real, and it's hormonal, not personal failure. Bloating and water retention get worse too. High estrogen signals your body to hold on to sodium and water. You might notice your clothes fit differently on certain days, or your hands and feet feel puffy without any clear reason. You could be drinking plenty of water and eating clean. This isn't just uncomfortable. It distorts how you see yourself and can make you feel like your diet isn't working, when really it's a hormonal shift you haven't addressed. Your mood becomes less stable. Progesterone is a natural calming agent. It promotes GABA production, which quiets down your nervous system. When progesterone drops and estrogen stays high, your nervous system becomes more reactive. You might feel irritable more often, or your anxiety spikes without a proportional external trigger. You might snap at someone you love over something small and feel shocked at your own intensity. You might cry during a commercial, or feel waves of sadness that don't have a clear cause. These aren't signs you're losing your mind. They're signs your neurochemistry has shifted. Sleep quality often deteriorates. Progesterone helps you sleep deeply and stay asleep. When it drops, your sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. You might fall asleep fine, but wake up at 3 in the morning, your mind spinning, unable to fall back asleep. Or you might sleep for 8 hours and still wake up exhausted. Some nights you sweat more, or you have vivid, sometimes disturbing dreams. You're in bed long enough, but you're not getting the restorative sleep your body needs. This compounds everything else. Poor sleep makes weight gain easier, mood regulation harder, and recovery from exercise slower. Brain fog becomes a noticeable part of your day. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You lose your words mid-sentence, or you can't remember someone's name even though you know them well. You sit down to focus on one task, and somehow 3 hours pass in a blur, with half the work done. This cognitive dulling is partly hormonal. Estrogen and progesterone both influence dopamine and serotonin, and partly the ripple effect of bad sleep and chronic stress. You might attribute it to aging, but it's actually a specific hormonal pattern you can address. Your libido might shift too, though this one is complex. Some women feel a spike in libido when estrogen is high, but often that desire exists in a fog of anxiety and exhaustion that makes acting on it feel like one more thing on a to-do list. Or you might notice that physical touch feels less pleasurable, or that your body takes longer to respond. The desire and the capacity have uncoupled from each other. You're not broken. Your neurochemistry and blood flow patterns have changed with your hormones. Breast tenderness is another quiet signal. Your breasts might feel more sensitive or swollen, especially in certain parts of your cycle. You might find yourself avoiding certain fabrics or sleeping positions. This happens because estrogen increases breast tissue sensitivity and water retention in this area. It's not dangerous, but it's annoying, and it's one more sign your hormonal environment has shifted. Here's what makes estrogen dominance so insidious. All of these symptoms are being normalized as normal aging. You're in your 40s, so of course you gain weight. Of course you're more moody. Of course you can't sleep like you did at 30. This is sold to you as inevitable, the price of getting older, but it's not. It's a specific hormonal imbalance that you can actually rebalance. The trap is that you accept these symptoms without investigating the root cause, and by the time you do, you've spent years feeling worse than you need to. Some of this might also be driven by what's happening in your liver. Your liver is responsible for metabolizing and clearing excess estrogen. If your liver is overburdened because of stress, poor diet, excess alcohol, or just the cumulative load of modern life, it can't clear estrogen efficiently. Estrogen gets reabsorbed in your gut instead of being eliminated. This creates a recycling loop where estrogen builds up higher than your body intended. Your progesterone still drops normally, but your estrogen doesn't drop as much as it should. Liking this video helps our channel reach more people dealing with exactly this problem. So please do, if this is resonating with you. Insulin resistance often develops or worsens alongside estrogen dominance. High estrogen impairs insulin sensitivity, and excess belly fat produces inflammatory compounds that make insulin resistance worse. You end up in a cycle where your body is fighting to regulate blood sugar, which triggers more cortisol release, which makes your nervous system more reactive and your fat storage more aggressive. You might find yourself craving carbs more intensely, especially sugar. You eat something sugary, your blood sugar spikes and crashes, and then you crave it again. This isn't a character flaw, it's a metabolic response to your hormonal environment. Your thyroid function can get tangled up in this too. High estrogen can increase thyroid-binding proteins, which means less free thyroid hormone is available to your cells, even if your total thyroid hormone levels look normal on a test. You might feel cold all the time, or your metabolism might seem sluggish, or your hair might become drier or start to thin. You get your thyroid tested and the results look fine, so your doctor tells you everything is normal. But it's not, because the test isn't capturing the full picture of what's happening hormonally. Now here's what you need to understand about addressing this. It's not about taking estrogen-blocking supplements or doing some extreme diet. It's about supporting your body's natural ability to metabolize estrogen and produce progesterone. This starts with your liver. Your liver needs specific nutrients to process estrogen, the B vitamins, magnesium, glycine, and adequate protein. If you're eating a standard modern diet low in micronutrients, your liver is struggling. Adding in leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, quality protein, and adequate fiber helps your liver clear estrogen more efficiently. Your gut health matters enormously. Your gut microbiome is responsible for something called the estrobolome, the collection of bacteria that help metabolize and eliminate estrogen. If your gut microbiome is damaged from antibiotics, a high-sugar diet, or chronic stress, your ability to clear estrogen suffers. You need diverse, fermented foods, plenty of fiber from vegetables and whole grains, and ideally some probiotic support. This isn't about a supplement-heavy approach. It's about eating food that actually nourishes the bacteria that help you process hormones. Stress management becomes critical. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated. Cortisol impairs progesterone production and damages your gut barrier, which further impairs estrogen clearance. You're caught in a loop where the stress that's part of modern life is literally making your hormonal imbalance worse. This doesn't mean you need to meditate for an hour every morning. It means you need to genuinely lower your daily stress load. That might mean setting better boundaries at work, reducing your social media consumption, or prioritizing sleep over productivity. It means making your nervous system regulation a non-negotiable part of your day. Exercise needs to change too. High-intensity exercise creates acute stress on your body, which can worsen hormonal imbalance if you're already in estrogen dominance. This doesn't mean you stop exercising. It means you balance intense workouts with adequate recovery. And you potentially shift some of your exercise towards strength training and lower intensity steady-state work that doesn't create such a big cortisol spike. Yoga, walking, Pilates, and resistance training are often better choices than constant high-intensity interval training when you're trying to rebalance hormones. Alcohol becomes a bigger deal in your 40s. Alcohol impairs liver function, which impairs estrogen metabolism. If you're drinking regularly, especially more than 1 drink per day, you're likely making estrogen dominance worse. This isn't about judgment, it's biochemistry. Your liver needs to process both the alcohol and the estrogen, and it can't do both efficiently. Reducing or eliminating alcohol for a period of time can create a noticeable shift in how you feel. Progesterone support sometimes requires more direct intervention. If you've addressed diet, stress, sleep, and liver health, and you're still struggling, you might benefit from bioidentical progesterone cream or supplements like micronized progesterone. This isn't about taking hormones forever. It's about giving your body support while you rebuild your foundation. A functional medicine doctor or naturopath who understands hormone physiology can help you determine if this is right for you. The goal is always to restore your body's natural ability to produce and balance hormones, not to become dependent on external support.